I'm gonna pick up the pieces and build a Lego house. If things go wrong, we can knock it down. My 3 words have 2 meanings, but there's one thing on my mind. It's all for you. And it's dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm. If you're broken, I will mend you, and I'll keep you sheltered from the storm that's raging on now. I'm out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now. I'm out of sight, I'm out of mind. I'll do it all for you in time. And out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now.
Hey, it's James here from goodguitarist.com, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to play Lego House by Ed Sheeran. Now this song's cool because it's a fingerpicking tune that doesn't necessarily use a bunch of open chords like we're used to. It's got a bit of an arrangement to it, but it's pretty simple if you think about it the right way. If you get your fingers in the right spots ahead of time and things like that, it's not too bad. It's not too hard for either the finger picking or for the chords, but it is going to require a bit of memorization. Now, if you find that something like this is a bit beyond your level, you might want to take a look at all the basics and make sure that you get down all your basic chords, all your strumming patterns, all that kind of stuff. And I have a couple of resources that'll help you. There's my free ebook, which is free for all my subscribers. There's information down below. And there's also a complete beginner's guitar course that just takes you through that stuff, but step by step, makes sure you learn how to practice properly, how to do it all. It guarantees that you're going to get it together. Anyways, let's get started with the verse. It goes like this. And we do that up until the first chorus, up until the I'm out of touch, until that part. So we're gonna get a lot of practice doing this part. First thing I would do is place my fingers. So we're gonna put our first finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. Sounds like that. Then we're gonna put our 3rd finger, my ring finger, so you have a ring on that finger, put it on the 4th fret of the next string, of the D string. So we have those 2 notes, and then we put our pinky under that one. And if you've checked out my lead guitar ebook, you might recognize this as the power chord, and it's a pretty useful like rock and roll tool. Anyways, we're gonna use it in like a soft ballad sort of song, which is really cool. So we have these fingers placed down. Now for our picking hand, we're gonna put our thumb on the A string. Then we're going to put our 1st finger, 2nd finger. So we're just kind of pinching them all like a claw. The pattern is super duper easy. We just go thumb, fingers, and that's it. And we would count it out like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So our thumb is plucking on all the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. And our fingers are plucking on the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we start off doing exactly that. Let's count it out so we're doing it the right number of times. We go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. And here we're going to change something. We're going to lift up our 1st finger and put it on the 2nd fret of the lowest string. And then when we're plucking it, our thumb has to follow that finger, because before we were plucking this one, now we're doing that. And we just keep going. 3 and 4 and. So that's the first half of it. All together, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we place our middle finger on the 4th fret of the lowest string, and now we just do the same thing for counting, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Now it's different here. We lift up our middle finger. We lift up our pinky finger. We place the middle finger on the 3rd fret of the G string. So instead of having these 2 fingers here, it's like that. And we just pluck, same thing, 3 and 4 and. So that second half all together, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's recap the whole thing. I'll just demonstrate it slowly one more time. And then we would do the whole thing again. So we're gonna do that many, many times up until we get to the chorus, to the I'm out of touch. And right before we get to the chorus, there's a bit of a transition. So that's the only time it's gonna be different, is the measure right before the chorus. And that one goes like this. So the first half's the same, just. And now for the second half, it starts out the same way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And now here it's a little bit different. We go. I start out pretty much the same way. Thumb, fingers, thumb. And then I switch. I take off my middle finger and I move these 2 fingers up here. So I'm on the B string at the 5th fret and the next string, the G string, at the 4th fret. And I pluck the low string and those 2 strings. So my fingers had to move from here to here. I gotta follow the strings that I'm pressing, right? I pluck them together and then I just pluck the top ones. And with the counting, it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that first bit, 1 and 2, and then on the and of 2, that's a good time to switch. And then I go 3 and 4 and that leads really well into the chorus, which is going to start out on this chord. So before we move on to the chorus, let's just recap everything we've done so far. We're going to try it a lot slower than the original recording, and you can take your time with this one. Maybe just watch it the first time, make sure that you're getting what's going on, and then you can try it yourself after that. Either way, let's do it nice and slow. I'll count us in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now the chorus is a bit more involving, but it's pretty much the same concept. The picking's super similar. The chord shapes are same idea, but we're just on different strings. So this is the whole thing slowly. it doesn't look too tricky. You know, it's just twice as much stuff as in the previous part. So if you got that, you're gonna be able to do this. It's just gonna take, you know, twice as much working on it. We're gonna start out on a chord like this. I already showed you this one a little bit when we were talking about that transition. So we're on this chord here, and that's the same as the first chord, except we've just moved these two fingers over that way. And we're gonna pick it pretty much the same way, just counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Now here, we're gonna move our pinky finger up 1 fret, you know, our 4th finger, so it went from there to there. And then we're gonna place our middle finger on the 4th fret of the A string. Same picking, 3 and 4 and. From there, we're gonna lower our pinky back to where we started, and we're gonna move our middle finger to the 4th fret of the lowest string. So we were here, and now we go here. And we're gonna count that one out too. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. And then here we just go back to our first chord, 3 and 4 and. So let's recap everything we've done so far. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's the first half. Now we're going to go to an F sharp chord, and for this one, I take my first finger and I put it on the lowest string. I lift up my pinky, I slide my ring finger down, and then I add my middle finger. So that's the most effective way to do the transition, because this is probably the most different chord shape. So we were here, and then I went 1, 2, 3, 4. Just try it like that, you know, just 1, 2, 3, 4. Just doing it over and over again in the same order. You're going to be programming your muscle memory. That's the fastest way to be super effective at that chord transition. Anyways, once we land there, once we're on that F sharp chord, we're going to keep doing the same strumming. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Then we're going to go up to our G sharp minor chord. 3 and 4 and. So for that transition, I just lifted these two fingers, slid up that one, and then I made the chord shape the same way we were doing it before. You know, this is the third chord shape in the chorus. I'm gonna do that for 3 and 4 and. Then lift up the middle finger, slide out the pinky. So that's a really easy switch. This is an E chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and now we go back to that F sharp chord. 3 and 4 and. The second half, I'll just recap that part. We're starting out on this chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's the chorus. You might have to, you know, go through it a few times before you get it. When you're ready though, we're gonna play it together nice and slow, just like we did with the first part, and you can just watch this and rewind it as many times as you need to make sure that you're getting it all. Let's try it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. right, so the only part we have to learn is the bridge. And for that, the finger picking is a little bit different. It's still really easy. We're using chord shapes that we've already played. So we're gonna start off on this one, call it G sharp minor. And our pattern now, we're gonna be plucking the low string with our thumb, first finger on the G string, middle finger on the B string, just like during most of the chorus. And we're gonna be going thumb, middle, thumb, first. So we do that once on G sharp minor, so make sure you can do that. Thumb, middle, thumb, first. Then we're gonna switch to the F sharp chord, this one, and we're gonna go same thing. And then we go to this E chord here, and we do it 2 times on the E chord. And now we go to F sharp, 2 times on that one. Once on E, once on F sharp. So once you've worked out the motions, we can try that part together nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that's how you play Lego House by Ed Sheeran. This is a bit different than what we normally do. You know, normally we learn some chord shapes, then we figure out how we can apply a strumming pattern or hammer-ons or whatever to it. In this case, it was an arrangement, so we just went through it bit by bit, just like if you were reading sheet music. You know, that's the same way we practice that. And as far as actually getting it together, I recommend going over it bit by bit, just like we learned in the lesson. You know, do the verse, do the first half of the verse. If that's too much, do just the first couple things, you know, and then learn it bit by bit, glue it all together. And then once you have that down, do the same thing for the chorus, same thing for the bridge. And once you have all that together, try playing it, just load up the lyrics online, and then just try kind of playing through it, reading the lyrics, following through, and getting the order of all the parts. You know, you're going to be playing the verse for a whole bunch, then you go to the chorus a couple times, back to the verse, chorus, bridge. You know, all that stuff, that comes last, and that's really easy if you prepare for it properly, if you learn the parts properly. If you're still struggling, figuring out where to put your fingers, you know, it's a bit, you're thinking ahead too much. You know, you're putting the cart before the horse, as they say. If you're worried about all those finishing touches and you still don't even have the first few things together. So make sure you do it in the right order, and you're going to get this song together a lot quicker than you think. Either way, if you need any extra help, don't forget I have 2 resources for you, my free ebook and my complete beginner's course. Have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.